Hey, good morning, everyone. It's 9:02 on Fun Friday. Made it through the week, almost. The goal of today is to not give anything back that you have gained through this week. That's my goal anyway. Never give anything back on Fridays, so just be conservative. We've got news at 10 o'clock this morning. We have consumer sentiment. That always seems to have an effect on the market. I had a long walk this morning with my dog before sitting down to the charts this morning. So it's a gorgeous day here in Canada. It is sunny. It's around 0 degrees, which I feel like I should get my shorts out. I was wearing my running shoes this morning, which is awesome. And I'm hoping to get my e-scooter out this weekend and give it a little run, even though I'm careful because I broke my wrist a couple weeks ago. So just taking things a bit easy until that totally heals. Anyway, let's take a look at the market, do a review of the week. Kind of see where price has been throughout the week and where it is this morning. Give us a sense of what we're looking at today. So I'm here on the hourly chart. I'm going to just remove the new day opening gaps and just get a bit of a clearer look here. So let's just take this off and let's just take a look at the week. Give everybody a chance here to roll in. I like to have sessions enabled on my chart so that we can see Monday through Friday nicely what transpired. So Monday we started, the market had that huge drop down and we made a low of the week. And that low of the week is, I've got this on my chart as Asia low Monday. So that was the low of the week. We haven't broken below that. Monday, Tuesday, the market climbed up a bit. And Tuesday, we made this high on Tuesday. Tuesday night, Asia ranged. London had a nice push up into Wednesday morning of New York AM. Thursday, we had a pullback again. Price came back down, did not break the low of Monday, so Monday remained the low of the week. And since making that low yesterday morning, price has been steadily climbing in an upwardly direction. We had last night Asia ranging, and then London has been steadily climbing. If we move down to the 15-minute, we can take a look at London. I think the manipulation was here. Manipulation is rarely it. You have to look for manipulation on London after 1:30 a.m. And I'm always talking about Eastern Standard Time. So no matter where you are in the world, when I say 1:30, I'm talking Eastern Standard Time. So it looks like manipulation is here because this is 3:30. 3 a.m. So I think manipulation was kind of around here. So London manipulated, and then we have distribution. So accumulation, manipulation, distribution. We have entered an hourly fair value gap, an hourly BISI. We have tapped into about the 50%, just a little more than 50% on this hourly. And we are still currently below Thursday's settlement price, 414, to the last candle that printed 414 yesterday. We're still a little bit below, so we're in discount org. So we'll just put that on the chart. We'll tighten that up shortly. There's our org. And we'll just put on here Friday. We haven't touched that org that we made on Monday. That's still up here, March 10th. That's a drawn liquidity up here. Now we have 10 a.m. news. Hey, XMT. There's our morning trader. We've got our org up here still from Monday that we haven't touched. That's a drawn liquidity. We have our London high, which is a draw. We have our Asia high. We have previous weekly low, which is up here. And what is this up here? 4-hour high. This is our 4-hour high up here that I've put on my chart. If we take a look at midnight, let's drop down to the 5 minutes so we get a better look to see what happened midnight at midnight. So here is my midnight vertical, so that represents midnight, and the first candle that prints, the opening time of that candle is where I drop my horizontal line. So overnight, price was mostly below midnight. And then in the early morning hours, we've climbed above midnight. So this is, I learned this, the importance of midnight at midnight from the trader Mulhan, M-U-L-H-A-N. He's a great trader. I think he lives in London, and he trades the London Asia session. And most of his videos have to do with London and Asia. So you can check him out if you're interested in trading London, Asia, or if you're just interested in understanding how the market moves in London and Asia and its impacts on the New York AM session. Check out his, I'll just spell his name here. Mulhan Trading. He is a great resource for videos on, turtle soup, power of three, Asia, London. He's a great resource to check out. So I'll just leave this up here for now. Actually, I'm going to put him in my notes from this morning. I'll link to his YouTube channel. Again, when you have time and you're so inclined, just check him out, because London and Asia have a big impact on the New York AM session. So if you've got time to dig into that, it might be worth your time. We have 10 a.m. news, consumer sentiment. That usually does impact price, so just be mindful of that. And just a reminder that contracts renew the third Friday of each month, so to keep an eye on contracts next week and see what open interest is. I like to use bar chart. Just go to bar chart here, and if we go to futures, let me just see here, currencies, indices. No, that's not what we want to see. I'll find it and bring it up on my chart a little bit later today, but bar chart is what I use to check as we're approaching the next contract. We want to look at the open interest because we want to trade the contract that has the largest open interest size, and you can find that on bar chart. As of this morning, our current contract, the March 2025, still had the largest open interest. So I'm remaining on that until I see differently into next week. Okay, so what else are we looking at here? Let's just put on our new week, new day opening gaps. So this area, new day opening gaps, this was filled through London. We have new day opening gap from March 13th, still open down here, so that's a draw on liquidity, and not so much above us. Okay, so that's where we are this morning. It's 9:12 It's Friday. Hope everyone has some plans. Does anyone have plans for this weekend? Anything exciting happening? Getting off the charts for a bit? Or are you hunkered down studying? What's your plan? I'm going to try to get my e-scooter out. I think everyone here knows what an e-scooter is, right? Let me show you what an e-scooter is. There. I bought myself an Apollo e-scooter last summer. Yeah, this is what an e-scooter is. It's the ultimate in fun. Oh, they have a sale on. That's the last thing I need. I want to upgrade to the next model. Yeah, so this is basically what I have. It's my e-scooter. And it's awesome because it goes up to a speed of about 35 kilometers an hour. This is exactly what I have. This is the model that I have. It's so much fun. And has dual brakes, dual motor. Anyway, it's like the most fun you can have. If you ever have the chance to ride an e-scooter, definitely do that, because I think you can rent them like in most big cities, and if you travel, it's a great way to zip around like a new city and see more of a city on an e-scooter. You have to wear a helmet, but most fun that you can have. I think last summer, my first summer, I rode it almost 1,000 kilometers. Yep. So it's about 600 miles, 700 miles in my first summer. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing this weekend. XMT89, you're going to work in your flower gardens? Oh, that's good. You're in the eastern U.S.? Okay. Peter, yeah, you know what? You raise a good point, because I think that in New York City, like there's maybe some more laws coming in with e-scooters, but in Canada, it's still pretty wide open. And I live in a small town where most of the roads are driving at 30 kilometers per hour. So I ride in with traffic, like I take up the lane. I'm ahead of cars or behind cars, and my e-scooter has like brake lights, signal lights. Like it's great for the road. So your country, it's max 25 kilometers an hour. So there's no max here yet in Canada. I guess enough people haven't been hurt yet. But even 25 kilometers an hour is like a pretty good speed. But does that mean you can ride in with the traffic, or do you have to stay in the bike lane or on, like in park? Can you ride on, where would you ride your e-scooter? Because for 25 kilometers an hour, you're not in with traffic, are you? Or are you in a bike lane? And do you ride them, Peter? Do you have one? Or do you rent one? The next model up that I want to get is 50 kilometers an hour, but I have to get a different helmet, because at 50 kilometers an hour, you need a face, like a face cover. Oh, you stay in the bike lane, okay. Well, I'm in a super small town, so I think I was the first e-scooter ever in this town, so I think people just don't know like what to do with me. But all the drivers last year were awesome. Yeah, you rent one. Okay, that's good. All the vehicles were really good last year. And sometimes, like, if I'm going out, like, I'll wear a pair of high heels and a skirt on my scooter, and it's fine. Like, as long as I'm around 30 kilometers an hour, I'm okay. I'm not afraid of falling off my scooter. It's kind of just like snowboarding or skiing or surfing. You know, you just kind of like that same motion. I know, seeing me with a skirt and heels on my e-scooter in the small town, I swear they've never seen anything like it. They don't know if I'm like part insane or like what the heck to do with me. But anyway, we got to live life, right? Life is short. We got to live it. All right then, so we've been over the chart, and let's go down to the 1 minute. Let's find some sell side, some buy side, and let's see what we can do with today. Wish I could take my dog on my e-scooter, but... All right, so on the 1 minute, let's put this up here. As soon as I go online, my dog picks up like his noisiest toy. I'm gonna have to take that out of his mouth. Let's put this up here as buy side. And see a couple of sell sides. Sorry, I'm gonna just grab that toy. Okay, come on. Yeah. Okay, go. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so we've got buy side up here, sell side down here. Actually, I'm going to move the sell side down here. And I'm just going to keep this in mind as sell side here. Again, we've got 10 a.m. news, so caveat emptor, buyer beware, right? Make sure if you're profitable this week, you make sure you go home with profit today. Do not burn the bridge on Fridays. Friday is not the day to ruin all your hard work. That's my rule for Friday. I would rather start the weekend like on a really positive note, feeling very positive about my trading. Hey, Emmanuel. Hey, from Scotland. Oh, that's so awesome. Oh my God, I love Scotland. I went there about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, and I traveled all around Scotland, and then I backpacked through Isle of Skye for, I think, 5 days. I just absolutely love Scotland. Scotland is like, you have to have like a rain jacket with you because every 2 minutes the weather changes. 1 minute it's sunny, then you're in Isle of Skye and you climb like partway up a mountain, and then it starts to rain, and then it gets like foggy. It's just, anyway. Scotland is just so awesome. I learned to drink scotch in Scotland. I really don't drink anymore, but that's where I had like my first, I guess, lesson in drinking scotch. Anyway, welcome from Scotland. So awesome. Okay, so we've got some areas here of sell side. We've got sell side down here. We've taken Asia high. We have not taken the lows. We have this opening range gap, and we still have the opening range gap from Friday, or excuse me, from Monday, which is up here. Okay, remember Monday we had that big drop in price, and we've never come back up here to grab the liquidity from this gap. So, and we also have new week opening gap up here. So just something to keep in mind. And now let's quickly take a look at ES and see what's happening. Let's go to the 1 hour on ES. Okay, so we tapped into these 4 hour time frames here. Again, the higher time frame is always it's always what we want to be looking at. I'm just going to take this off. Take a peek on the 4 hour. So we've been hovering in this area here. Looks like ES has tapped in just a tiny bit lower. It may be taking liquidity there. So this is a strong level. We've been here multiple times. This 4 hour level here. Below here we have another 4 hour level. But it looks like price has an interest in going higher this morning. Okay, so I'll go back to the 1 minute. It's 9:24. We have 5 minutes before market opens. For anyone who wasn't on earlier this morning, make sure that you keep an eye on the contract size, the open interest on the contract size. Officially, the contract changes next Friday. The futures contracts change next Friday, but it's good to keep an eye on the open interest because you want to be trading in the contract that has the greatest open interest. I checked this morning. So far, the March contract, like that we're currently in, still has the largest amount of open interest. So we're still in the right contract. Okay. So yesterday afternoon, guys, I went back on the charts just to, I like to keep an eye on them. Again, I don't like to trade in the afternoon. If I have a good trade in the morning, I don't want to trade in the afternoon. But anyway, this beautiful breaker block opened up. I think it was around 1:30, and it was just like a perfect unicorn setup. It was just like, it was epic. It was textbook. So I couldn't help myself. I took the trade. Price came, it was a bullish breaker block. Price had hit the low yesterday, and then the breaker block formed, and then there was a very nice order block. Price came back down, tapped into the order block, and I went long, and then price went up. I'm sure you guys saw price yesterday afternoon, but it was like, you have those trades that are just easy. It's simple, but it's never easy. But yesterday felt easy on that unicorn trade. So that was a really nice way to end the day. I think it was around 50 points. I could have held it a lot longer, which I'm going to work on. But you know what? I'm not going to argue about 50 points on a Thursday afternoon. Okay, so it's 9:26. Let's drop a fib into this opening range gap. So when price opens up below an opening range gap, we have a discount. This is a discount opening range gap. We are above midnight. And we've got Asia low here on the sell side. Price has been making higher highs. Hey, good morning, Tandy. Hey, nice to see you. So everyone say hello to Tandy. She is from Mozambique. Well, she lives in Mozambique. She's not from Mozambique, but she lives there. And I've been trading with Tandy. I have like a little private group on the side. I've been trading with Tandy for 2 years now. Which is kind of awesome. Tandy, we're just looking at this opening range gap here from this morning, which is a discount opening range gap. And price has been climbing since London low this morning. It's kind of what we're looking at. We've got 10 a.m. news, consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Let me take a look at XMT. Let me just confirm the settlement price from yesterday. Go to the 1 minute. This is on NQ. Yep, you're right. I've got my settlement price wrong. Thank you very much. Settlement price is here. Thank you. That makes a big difference. There we go. Settlement. E-mini. Yesterday. Thank you. So let's change that opening range gap. Right here to here. Good catch, thank you. So it's a premium opening range gap, and let's just draw the fib on there. Okay. So if price is gunning on going higher today, we could anticipate, price dropping before going higher, and this would be a nice drop into the opening range gap. I'm going to just clear up this area a little bit here. And I'm going to remove, just for now, new day opening gaps, just to give a clearer, just to clean things up a bit. Got London high there. Okay, it's 9:31, market is opened. Move this over. This is our first candle. Right here, right on midnight. One, two, three candles. XMT. I'd like to see a nice pushback up to the 4-hour SIBI, then sell back to RTH gap later, but it's Friday, so lower expectations for me. London high is up here, but we may go lower before going higher. Previous day high. Hi, Peter. I agree with you. Like, price has been bullish since Monday morning, basically. Monday morning is when we made the low of the week. above midnight. I wouldn't be surprised at a nice pullback into this opening range gap before continuing higher. I'm in no rush for a trade this morning because of 10 a.m. news. Oh, you're swing trading today. Okay. We've already had a 5-minute break of structure to the upside. Very small first fair value gap. First fair value gap of the day, very small. Peter, normally I would, but with 10 a.m. news, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait for the news to come out, and then I'm going to be looking for a 5-minute break of structure either way, and probably going with that strategy today. It's tempting because I think, well, you know, I have no idea what the market's going to do, but for the market to go higher, it's probably going to come lower first. So we might have manipulation down here before, you know, continuing, but I don't know. So that would be a nice retest of the 5-minute candle. I'm not sure about this, but let's be mechanical about it, right? Take profit just above. It's 9:44. So I've stopped out, but at least, break even, a little bit of profit, but it's 9:46. I just feel better waiting till after the news, but we did have a 5-minute break of structure. Let's see what happens. This org, this is a big draw in liquidity, so there's some competing forces here that don't make this like a very high probability trade, but and we're at London high, so The thing with a mechanical strategy, like the 5-minute scalping strategy, the break and retest, is that when you trust in a strategy and it's mechanical, in other words, every time you see X happen, then you do this. When you see Y happen, then you do this. Over time, the strategy is a profitable strategy. So when you start only taking the trade 2 out of 5 times in a week, you're kind of messing with statistics, because you could be choosing the 2 days where the trade wouldn't take out, and then the other 3 days the trade would work out. So the beauty with the mechanical strategy is that you're taking the humanness out of it. If I see this, a break and retest, then I take the trade, and it should be you take the trade no matter what. But again, Scarface, he doesn't take this trade on red folder days, red folder news days. So, you know, if you're gonna, you kind of have to use your own judgment, I guess is what I'm basically saying. But this would have been a nice trade had I stayed in it. Anyway, let's see what happens after 10 o'clock. The day is young. Now, if price shoots all the way up to this opening range gap from Monday, that will be funny. But overall, it's looking bullish. But it's 9:50. Feels like the market is also waiting for the news to drop. So from 5-minute candle high, if I'd stayed in the trade to this high, you know, that's 68 points. It's not bad for 15 minutes in the market and done for the day. Of course, it's always, you know, hard to navigate like the high. You're not always going to get out at the high, but next week on Wednesday we have Fed minutes and interest rate. So next Wednesday will be very interesting to see whether the Fed makes any changes to the interest rate. I'm going to guess that there's going to be no changes to the interest rate, just based on based on what's happening with like the tariff problems, and I think the Fed might just want to be a little more conservative and not drop interest rates. But anyway, let's see what happens next Wednesday. Should be interesting. Just looking at Scarface's break and retest this London high here. So we came above, came back down to London high, retested, and now bullish. So again, you can use his strategy on different important levels that are on your chart. It doesn't just have to be the 5-minute high candle. It can be at any major level. It's a nice, simple strategy. Break and retest, nice and simple. Even though we're on the 1 minute, we have the beginning of a breaker block. So we've got our high. Low. This would have to come below this low for us to have a breaker. And with news at 10, I don't put a lot of weight in a breaker because we can just blow right through this. Peter, are you asking what the win rate on the 5-minute Scarface strategy is? Is that what you're asking? Well, when I back tested it for 3 months and just looked at the mechanics of it, it was around 55%. But when I use it in confluence with ICT's knowledge of ICT's order flow, the win rate is much higher. And when I'm looking at a new strategy, I need at least 6 months in working on it to get better at it. But I think Scarface says that his strategy is like a 65 to 70% win rate. But again, like you need time with a new strategy, right? Scarface would have like a much higher win rate because he's been trading for 10 years or 9 years. So I'm giving at least 6 months, and I look at this every single morning, right? But I like it because it's super simple. It's very mechanical. It's 9:57. I linked his video. If you go to my YouTube channel, it's in the title. It says Scarface 5-minute strategies, and I've linked it in that video, so you can find it there. Or you can just search for him, and his name is spelled like this. Actually, I'll put it in the chat. And Peter, his videos, straight to the point, easy to understand. Just, he does a great job. So broke above London high, could be forming a breaker block here. 2 minutes to news, and we have liquidity to the downside. Yeah, just check that video that I posted 2 days ago because I've linked it, the 5-minute strategy. But basically his whole trading premise is based on break and retest. High, low, higher, high, lower, low. So if we make a lower low, then our breaker block would be from here to here. And we have a fair value gap here. And we have a fair value gap here. So, just saying. Okay, you're welcome, Peter. No problem. So we're inside this 1 hour BISI, sell side below, news coming out in 1 minute, breaker block, we broke London high. So again, we have some competing PD arrays here. So I just want to sit and see what's going to happen. So 10 a.m. news just came out. Sorry guys, I'm going to quickly, I want to look at what the number is for the consumer sentiment. Forecasted to be 63%, actually came in at 57.9, so almost 3% lower than forecasted. And that probably has something to do with like the tariff concerns. People are concerned. Stock market has been dropping. Back to this first fair value gap. Got a fair value gap in here. Just looking at this fair value gap, I don't want to draw it on here because I already have too much on my chart, but this candle is tapping into the fair value gap. The first fair value gap of the day is holding. We did tap into the opening range gap, almost to the 25%. To be We had a strong rejection just above the 25% of opening range gap, so I'm mindful of that. However, I'd like to see this opening range gap fill down to the sell side here at least, or this hourly order block. But I'm cautious around here. Remember, we want to sell above midnight and buy below midnight. Okay, well, I'm done. I was really hoping that price would come down just a little bit further into the opening range gap, like around the 50% mark, and it still might. It might reject off here, but it's showing signs of being bullishness. Too bad it didn't come down a little bit further, but you know what? Yeah, the book Best Loser Wins. Yeah, it's on my radar, Peter. Thanks for recommending that. See, this is rejected here. Actually, wish I had stayed in the trade. I just want to jump to the 5 minutes. I want to look for the 5-minute breakup structure and see where we are. This is our low. This is our high on the 5 minute. This is our high. And this is our low. Right here, 5 minute low. Now we're in between these two, so right now, I want to see which one we're going to break, either the high or the low here. Thanks, Gonzalo. I think I might pick that one up this weekend. Gonzalo, being greedy and overtrade have been my worst mistakes. Blowing profits, starting with revenge trading, and blah, blah. Yeah, Gonzalo, you're not alone. You're not alone. Is that what the book addresses? Does the book address, like, you know, those kind of challenges? See here, we're rejecting off this SIBI here. I should have stayed in the trade. But let's take a look. See, my problem is I get out of the trade too soon. But next week I might trade with micros and force myself to stay in the trades. But let's see, we still have our 5 minute low from Scarface's strategy here, and that is still good until 11 a.m. Peter, once I significantly cut down on my trading, things got a lot better for me. You'd be amazed how many stupid trades you take. Like, it's better to have 2 to 3 great trades per week when you have low resistance liquidity, clear trend, clear direction, and then you take your trades at the right time. And the trades are so easy, they're so effortless. You just wonder why you waste your time on stupid trades. Yeah, here we go. We're gonna... Okay, thanks, Peter. I think I'll pick up that book this weekend. Best Loser Wins. This is a sticky area. You see, we've rejected. Let's just go to the higher time frame and see what's happening around this area here. Very sticky in here. We have this 15-minute busy. Yeah, on the 15-minute, it's a large wick both ways, right? We haven't crossed midnight yet. could come down to this hourly. One big mistake or challenge that I had to overcome was I would exit a trade or I would get stopped out, and then I would immediately re-enter thinking, I have to be right, or I'm committed to this framework. And really what I should have done is just take a step back, breathe, go get a coffee or a glass of water, and reassess my framework. Could I be wrong? The answer is yes. So once I changed that, I was break even for about 4 to 5 months last year. Just consistently break even, and once I started to refine my trading, so I started to trade less. I didn't jump back into trades once I had exited the trade. I'm waiting for my setups to come to me. I'm no longer trying different things. I have my 2 mechanical trades and I just stick with them. And once I did that's when everything changed for me. And I'm looking forward to this year. I think this is going to be a good year for me. So I call that the refinement stage. When you're break even, you just need to make a few adjustments to push you into that area of being profitable, or at least more profitable than less profitable. So that's what I call it, the refinement stage. Yeah, Peter, once you can stop over trading, it's going to make a huge difference. I have a fairly strict 2-trade day. Sometimes I'll push it and take 3 trades. It's really, really helped me, because it's the impetuousness. It's that habit of needing to do something instead of sitting on your hands and analyzing what is happening. And that's a character trait. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I'm an impatient person by virtue, by nature, always have been. And I think trading has really helped me to rein that in. So here, take a look at what's happening here. So here is our 1 hour BISI. This green box here is a 1 hour BISI. And that is holding price, but it's between this SIBI and this BISI. Price is kind of ranging between these 2 areas here. It's 1031. I would either like to see it break below this BISI or move above this SIBI. And then this would become an inverted fair value gap. But remember, we had this bearish breaker this morning, right? We had price return. I think that's where I went short. But price could return again before dropping, or price could continue higher. Yeah, so Peter, once you address the overtrading, you're gonna find a big difference. And I found that for me personally, once I was locked into what my 2 strategies were, it became a lot easier to just wait for those trades to come to me. With ICT, there are so many opportunities to take trades, higher time frame, lower time frame, in between time frame. Like, you look at the chart and you see a million different trades that you could take. But once I zeroed in on 2 strategies that work for me and my personality, then it became a lot easier to let go of trading all the stupid trades. Not to say that I don't go in my sim sometimes and trade like a, crazy person, but I stick to sim. When I'm in those moods or I want to try new things, I go to my sim. There's nothing wrong with that. You can try lots of things in your sim, You don't need to use your own money when you're trying out new strategies. And sometimes, you just have that nervous energy. Take it to your sim. Go crazy. Let's see. This is an interesting Interesting sippy here, it's holding. I think price is just, let's give it some time to figure out what it wants to do. I agree, Peter, and trust me, studying ICT full-time for 16 months, plus having had prior experience with options, like coming to the charts every day, I just had like a million different things that I saw, and it didn't do me any favors. So now my two things, you guys know what my two trades are, my strategies, is reversals with the breaker block, using power of 3 and my knowledge of accumulation, manipulation, distribution. And then that kind of like nervous morning energy of the Scarface 5-minute candle strategy. And that for me scratches my itch when it comes to wanting to scalp. And so that's the best of both worlds for me. I have my longer runs with my breaker block, unicorn, I guess, if you want to call it that. And then I've got that kind of like early morning itch that I can get a really nice trade on the 5-minute candle strategy. And then honestly, the rest of the day is for living life. Yeah, I trade full-time, Gonzalo. I'm a full-time trader. This is what I do. So easy to just want to be on the charts all day, but I also changed that. Once I finish trading, I want to get out and do other things. Especially now the summer's coming to Canada, because we have a very short summer. Thanks, Peter. Thank you. Peter, or just go into Sim. If you're on TradingView, go into TradingView and look through on the 5-minute time frame and mark every breaker block that you can find on the 5-minute, and then pair that with looking for an area of liquidity that the breaker block would have accessed. So if there's a PD array just above the breaker block or just below the breaker block, those are your high probability breaker blocks. And go back 4 months and just draw it out in your sim in TradingView and identify every single time you see it on the 5-minute, because the 5-minute is the higher probability. Like this morning we saw this on the 1-minute, okay, but we swept London, so we tapped into a higher time frame PD array. So price accessed some energy there. We have a breaker block, but as I said, I didn't totally trust this breaker this morning because it's only on a 1-minute, and we had a 5-minute break of structure to the upside. So we had some competing interests, right? I could make the case for going long, but I could also make the case for going short. Here we are now. Price is just consolidating, just trying to figure out what it wants to do. It's stuck between this PD array and this PD array. But again, it's a red folder day. There should be a liquidity grab. I like to see liquidity grab as a breaker block is starting to form. Because think of a breaker block as a change in the state of delivery. Price is going to reverse. That's what a breaker block signifies. It gives us that nice, here, I'll draw it out for you. I'll do a bullish one. We come down, and then we move up. Then we come down into the bullish breaker block, and then from here, price goes up. This is what it looks like, right? And then the breaker is, so it's low, high, lower, low. So between A and B is where the breaker goes. bullish. So we wait for price to come back down into the bullish breaker, and then price moves up. And if we have a fair value gap in this leg, and we have a fair value gap in this leg, that makes it higher probability. And if down here, this is where we want to see the PD array, this is where we want to see liquidity grab in here, okay? Liquidity grab. So this could be Asia low, could be London low, could be a fair value gap. It could be an order block, even nicer, like yesterday afternoon. We had a nice order block here, right? But this is what it looks like. You don't have to immediately jump into the trade here, okay? Wait for price to come back down into the bullish, especially into the fair value gap. Then you've got time, and you've got a nice trade ahead of you when that happens. XMT, I agree with you. There was that 5-minute break of structure. However, with the opening range gap below, like there was just competing interest this morning, right? You could have made a framework for either way. So now we're seeing price go up. So let's just take a look and see where our 5-minute is. Anyway, I hope that breaker block makes sense, Peter. Okay, so we had chatter here. Looks like price found its base. So let's just go to the 5-minute. Okay, so our low is, here's our low. Let's get rid of this. Price comes down and back up. So this is our low. Here's our high, here's our high here. So we've had a break of structure. Here's our high. See, candle goes up and then candle comes down. This is our high. We've just had a 5-minute break of structure. That's our high, which has just been broken. So this is the 5-minute break of structure. Let's see how it responds to the bearish breaker. If it's bullish, we'll go right through it. If it rejects again, go back to the 1-minute. So right here, this red line here, break a structure on the 5-minute. Now, if indeed price is going to go higher, this would be our order block. Right? Price has tapped into the SIBI in this bearish breaker. Totally agree, XMT. When I can make a framework for price to go higher or lower, sit on your hands, wait for the market to reveal its hand. It'll either inverse on a fair value gap, and oftentimes when you can make a case for both ways, price is consolidating, right? It's ranging. So it kind of tricks you. It goes up a little bit, and then it comes back down a little bit, then it goes up, then it comes down. So like right now, here's our range. It's like right here, right? That's our range. For price to go higher, I like to see it go above this SIBI here. And we are literally straddling this 5-minute breakup structure. Like, we're just playing with it, right? We're above midnight. So ideally, I want to sell above midnight, buy below midnight, but we're just ranging right now. Exactly, Peter. If you can see it go both ways, it's low probability. Because we know that when the market chooses a direction, it's very clear. It's making higher highs, higher lows. It's making fair value gaps. It's respecting fair value gaps. Like it's a horse race, right? It's clear. We're running in this direction. But when it's like this, like we're straddling this 5-minute breakup structure, it's just price is playing with us right now. So it's 10:44. I'm not interested in taking any other trade this morning. I took my $1,000 this morning and I'm done. Friday afternoons, I find the market really jumpy, but I might take a peek at it. I'm not going to live stream this afternoon, but if I see a very clear setup of with a breaker block, a change in direction, I might take a look at that. But otherwise, I'll be back on Monday. It's important to end your week on a very positive note so that emotionally and spiritually you can have a good weekend. Take some time off, go do some fun stuff, get away from the charts, and we'll come back next week. We got FOMC minutes on Wednesday and interest rate. Very interesting week next week. Let's see what the Fed does with all this stuff with tariffs and trade wars, the market, having really sold off, the last almost 2 weeks. Very interesting to see what the Fed is going to do with interest rates. And I think that's going to have a big impact on the market next week. So we've got some days of high impact news next week that can really make the market run. So save your gunpowder for the good trades and don't waste your mental capital on this stuff. This is nothing here. So, okay, guys, thanks for joining me, and have an awesome weekend. And I'll see you guys next week.